Hey, it's Eric Hultgren, and on this episode, we talk to President of Schaafsma Heating and Cooling, Kevin Walsh, about what you can expect from Schaafsma when they arrive at your house to fix that air conditioner you might need right now, and what is the Schaafsma difference. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Kevin, how are you this morning?
I am doing well, my friend.
Awesome. So, we're talking about Schaafsma and the Schaafsma difference this morning, but before we get to that, because I'm super interested in that stuff, but for people who don't know you and maybe haven't met you, I'd love to dive into a little bit of your mythology, right? Your origin story. How did you get to where you are inside Schaafsma? Because it's an interesting story because you don't hear about this sort of ascension very often in the modern world, right? You either are the CEO or you've been a CEO someplace else and you arrive, but you came about this sort of a different way. Can you talk to me about your career in HVAC?
Sure. It's nothing exceptional, I don't think. I started here right out of college at Davenport, and I started doing the accounting part of the work. Moved up, advanced to controller, doing all the financials and everything. There came a time where, through an owner passing away, the company was available to purchase, and myself and two other individuals that all had different expertise, some in sales, some in installation, mine in the management. We bought the company and took it over and have been shepherding it through since 2001.
And so you say it's unremarkable, but I've had the pleasure of being around your staff and being with your team for going on almost 6 months at this point. And what I can tell you is that leadership is something that is, in my opinion, partially there's clearly lessons you learn, but some of it is innate. And I'm wondering, when you're in Davenport, are you thinking about management and leadership at that point, or like as you're coming out of college, what is that thought process? This is going to be the direction that Kevin goes in this way.
Well, I had, while I was in college, I had no idea that I would be coming into a heating and cooling business. But management is what I was going to school for. That's what intrigued me, was leading other people. And the opportunity was presented by Marv Schaafsma. So I took that, and I really enjoy the part of leading people and developing a culture within the company that, fosters, everybody's success.
And Kevin, it goes without saying that we're in a time of need of great leadership, right? And as you're the head of a company going through something like a global pandemic, what has been the temperature around the office? How have people responded to the constant changes with what we're supposed to do as not only business owners and leaders, but employees and consumers? What has that been like for you to kind of navigate through all of this?
Well, I think, for us, it hasn't been too terrible, I think, and it's a testament to the people that work here. When the pandemic set in, and in March, and everything was kind of becoming chaos in the world, our people looked at each other. We decided that we all needed to pitch in together and do whatever we needed to do to make sure the company stayed successful and that we took care of our customers. And it was just a group effort on everybody's part. We just laid out the importance of what we needed to do as a company, and everybody jumped in and helped out.
And so that leads me to, if I'm a consumer, what can I expect from Schaafsma if I have a service call or an installation call? How has that changed from, we'll call it January 2020 to June 2020?
Well, there's going to be a lot more safety precautions. There'll be some additional questions on the phone to find out, if there's any issues inside the home, health related. We have our own issues, our own processes when people come into work, as far as verifying that they're healthy, they haven't been sick, temperature checks every day, making sure that everything is good there. And if an employee does read high on a temperature. Even if it's still below what the CDC is recommending, we're taking the extra steps and, having that person, maybe check their temperature a little bit later or stay home that day, depending on the situation and how they're feeling. And then in the home, we have booties, we have gloves, we have face masks, we have face shields. Every truck has been outfitted with hand sanitizer dispensers, and they have spray bottles of hand sanitizer and clean rags to clean up their work area after they're done. The idea is that anything that we've touched, we sanitize, and just try to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep our customers safe and the employees safe.
All right, Kevin, which leads me to talking about the Shaafsma Difference. We have we've had a couple times to sit down and talk about this, but what I am absolutely fascinated by with your company is the care in which you go about the art of HVAC. And so for somebody who maybe has not had an experience with Schaafsma, can you explain to me how your elevator pitch on what the Shaafsma Difference would be?
I think for us, it is the taking care of all the things that you can see and not see. There are a lot of areas in the industry that people are unfamiliar with, much like, car mechanics. When you take your vehicle in for repair, you're at their mercy as far as what they're telling you. Our goal is that we are always as honest and transparent with the customer as we possibly can be. We want to make sure that they understand what the issues are, what the solutions are, maybe if we can, what caused the issues, and give them options and choices to decide what best fits their needs. It's just all about treating everybody the way we would like to be treated.
Absolutely. And I think perhaps one of the most stunning things you've said to me in the 6 months that you and I have kind of been going back and forth on all of this stuff was, I had no idea that in the state of Michigan, you don't actually have to be certified to work on my house. Like, I can literally, somebody can just show up and just start doing, work on my heating and cooling however they want to. But you guys are NATE certified and Pearl certified. Can you talk about those two certifications? And I don't know if I'm pronouncing both of them correctly, but talk about those certifications and why they're important to you guys.
Absolutely. And you're right on that. I think HVAC is the one trade that you do not have to be licensed to do the work in the home. Plumbers have to have a journeyman's license. Electricians have to have a journeyman's license. Heating and cooling people do not need to be licensed at all. You just have to have one license within the company. So NATE, which is the North American Technician Excellence, was introduced in the 90s, and it's something that we jumped on early and embraced. We looked at it as a way to separate ourselves from the competition, to show that what we are doing is right. We're doing things the correct way, that our people are knowledgeable in what they are doing. It's not an easy test to pass. Just simply having been in the industry for a while and gaining some knowledge doesn't allow you to pass the test. There is some questions in there that you have to really think about. So we looked at that as a way to separate us. Pearl certification is another way. That's a newer certification. It's a certification for the home. And the company, or the Pearl certification process, what they're doing is they are recognizing contractors that are doing jobs the right way, and that if by doing it the right way, they are actually installing the equipment and the homeowner is achieving the efficiency that they expect out of the equipment. Because if it's not installed right, you don't get the efficiency that you expect. But if it's installed right, then you get the efficiency. And Pearl is saying that we recognize the companies they work with as companies that do it the right way. So we have confidence that the equipment will have the efficiency that is actually printed on it, and that they will then issue a document stating that ties into the appraisal of your home and will raise the value of the home.
Very cool. And so it's summertime, Kevin, and people are obviously, we've had some sort of peaks and valleys in weather here in Michigan where it's been very, very hot and then sort of mild and quite delightful, actually.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
if I'm in my home and we're getting that summer weather, what are some warning signs that I should reach out to you guys? And when we're talking about efficiency, what things should I be looking for in my house to make sure that it's running the way it's supposed to be?
Well, I think, you want to see if it's holding temperature. If you have your thermostat set at a specific temperature in the summertime, whether it's 72, 74, 78, whatever temperature you have it set for, can it hold that temperature, especially as the day gets warmer? At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, is the air conditioner running, but the temperature just keeps creeping up? There's an issue with the system. So that's one big thing to look for. Others are going to be, just sounds. Pay attention to the noise level of the unit. Do you hear anything odd when it starts up? That could be a sign of some wear and tear on the equipment.
And so how, just so I can understand, how long should an air conditioner last? If you've got it installed properly, it's running at high efficiency. What is the age group? And I know that probably varies from low end units to high end units, but in a medium range, how long do those things last?
Yeah, and it varies by the region of the country. The South, they'll go through an air conditioning unit in 6 to 10 years. In Michigan, 15, 20 years, we'll see air conditioners sometimes that are 25 years old. Usually the ones that are that old, that we're pulling out, we see a lot of wear and tear on it that has certainly impacted the efficiency of that unit. And it just becomes a time when a homeowner wants to start considering whether they want to continue to pay the utility company for their air conditioning, or do they want to buy a new unit, and the money that they're spending on maybe a monthly payment, they're saving it on their utility bill.
So which leads me to my last question, and it's one that I think just speaks volumes as how amazing your company is. So if you've got a product, right, with both a heating unit and an air conditioning unit that, let's say, the median is a decade before I need another piece of equipment from you, what's the secret sauce to keeping customers talking to you guys, right? Coming back for service and recommending to others? Like, that's a long time between buying two giant pieces of equipment to have a relationship. But time and time again, the people that we talk in the Schaafsma family will tell you that, the red carpet difference and the Shaafsma difference is why they stick with you guys. And so what's the secret to all of that?
Well, I think, taking care of your customers is the true secret on maintaining the relationship. But, customers that recognize the importance of maintaining the piece of equipment so that they continue to get the efficiency and the longevity out of the equipment that they purchased, they keep calling us back each year to come out and do the service and the maintenance on that. So that certainly builds a long time relationship. And we've had customers that we've put, occasionally we get into the third piece of equipment. We've been servicing that customer for 40 to 50 years. And
wow.
We've also done it for 3 generations of customers. The grandparents used us, the parents used us, and now the children are calling us up for installation and service work.
That's amazing. Kevin, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for a couple minutes of your time. And on the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about air conditioning and something known as R22. So I can't wait to get into that. But you, my friend, have an awesome day.
Thank you. You as well.